I survived 100 days on the brand new Star Wars collab with LEGO Fortnite. But to make this difficult, I have to complete 2 challenges while receiving 3 potential punishments. The first challenge is 1 level 10 compost village inside of the Star Wars world. On top of that, I need to collect all 3 colored lightsabers, but I cannot have any villager help, and I can't use any glitches when completing this. Anytime that I die, I will give away 1 gift card per death to somebody in the comments. Now, something that I noticed when I first loaded into a brand new world was they actually did one of those 1970s transitions to get us into our world, which is very fun and unique. Also, when I get into my world, you could see Bright Bomber starts with me, but I do have to wait for this event in order to get started. So now what I have to do is find myself some snacks so that I don't die immediately off the bat from starvation, and then also find a really tall hill or cliff. That way I have a really nice view of the sky in order to find or see this live event. Now, the Star Wars event is absolutely amazing, and if you're not somebody that got to experience it on your own, you guys can go into a creative world or start up your own survival world to see this by yourselves. You can see I almost got killed by an X-Wing or TIE fighter shooting down some beams at me, which was absolutely amazing to see in game. And then you get to finally see the Star Destroyer come out of the rift, crashing down around your survivor world. Now, for this event in particular, it isn't on the mainland, it is its own separate island, but I'll show you guys exactly how to get to this if you didn't already know. But when this thing is crashing down, you could see the dark smoke, the fire that is leaking off the back of it. It looks absolutely insane, but one of my favorite parts to watch is this explosion that happens thousands and thousands of meters away from us. It looked absolutely incredible in game. Now, the beginning of this game is really just a waiting game, because now we have to wait for the captain to spawn out in front of us, and she is going to give us these macro binoculars. Again, if you guys were not able to do this in your survivor world, you have to try to go back to where you were standing around when this event started, because she spawned and rifted directly on top of me. But I'm going to talk to her, I'm going to tell her that I'm a friend, and she's going to give me these macro binoculars, which actually help me out so much, because that brings us to the starting point of our video here, which is now finding ourselves a rebel cave, running to it, and that will allow us to teleport over to the Star Wars world. So we'll walk right past those rebel guards and enter into one of the brand new caves that were added into this game. They were completely redesigned inside and out and look so much better. The inside of these are obviously much more open, a little bit cleaner, and still have resources in there for you to farm. Not only that, but they did add more bodies of water, some waterfalls, some cliffs and ridges inside of here. I mean, it looks absolutely incredible. And as we get further towards the end of the cave, something else that we could see is that they actually laid down some beds for the rebel villagers to sleep in. That way they never have to leave the inside of this cave. But I really just want to know what they're plotting inside of these grassland caves. Now that we're out of there, we could officially start our journey. We want to find another blue rebel building here, and that is going to show us exactly where the campsite is. So once again, we're going to use those binoculars to scout out the area. We don't want to go into any of the red areas because that's where the bad guys are, and we can't afford to die just yet. And we're gonna run over here to find this nice camp area that we have to clean up and get to level 10, as that completes our first challenge. Now, something new that they added into here with this rebel outpost is they actually give you jobs to complete rather than just simply bringing over a bunch of items. So the first thing that I need to do is get myself an axe and a pickaxe, because they're not going to make this easy for me. I actually have to go to work. So I have to clear the debris of this area after collecting myself some new granite and then new wood in order to build myself a pickaxe and an axe. Surprisingly enough, that actually took me a decent amount of time to find enough wood and granite to make myself the forest axe, a pickaxe, and build myself this crafting bench in order to get those 2 items. But obviously it doesn't stop there, as now with the new village outpost jobs, I have to complete and clear all of the debris in the area. That way that I can start building for these villagers so that they have a safe hub on this new island. Ooh, and let me tell you, Triggerfish is not happy. This is a tiring experience. Not only do you have to break all of that stuff down, but you also have to pick up any of the smaller rubble that is on the ground, and then you finally get into your building spot. So what we're originally building right now is going to be this little rebel farm. This is going to be a nice little chill building for them to hang out in, or at least one of them to hang out in. That way I could start to get myself some villagers. But as you guys know, when it comes down to this, I cannot actually use these villagers in game. And yes, you did just watch me try to place builds down when I had 0 materials to do it. Now, to speed up the process, I did the most boring thing, which was spending an entire day farming. So I hit every single tree that I could find, every single nub that I could find, every bush, every pumpkin seed, anything that I could see in this ground area, I was going to hit. I knew that if I wanted to waste no time and make these challenges go a little bit faster, I had to prepare myself as best as I can, which means breaking every single possible item that I have and getting as much granite as wood as possible. So to start day 2, we're gonna finish off this rebel farm village area and get the builds inside of the area started now that I actually have enough material to start to build some things inside of this area. The final objective that I have for tier number 1 is to place down a bed for the captain, that way that she has a place to sleep at night. And now that we have a place that has a roof on it, we could officially go ahead and break down our workbench and place this inside so that we don't have to wait for it to stop raining in order to use these things. And after going ahead and checking out the rebel outpost, what I realized was not only do I need to place down more beds, but I need to find pumpkin, and overall I'm going to need a lot more material for this. So all of day 2 is going to be spent farming, so I don't need to do this again in the future. So I farmed, and then I farmed again, and I farmed even more, and I farmed some more things, and then I farmed even more, and I just kept farming. So to finish off day 2, we're able to finally get enough farming done in order to place down enough beds to complete the outpost and finally get it up to level 2 or level 3. I've lost count because I just farmed for about an hour straight and all I got was wood and granite. But I was able to level it up, and that is all that matters. Now, you're not going to believe what I did for day 3 as well, which was I just once again walked around and I smacked some more trees and I smacked some more rocks and I smacked some more vines. But it was all worth it in the end because once I got back to my camp, I was able to get myself some plank, which is going to help me go ahead and earn myself a night shield once I get some cord. So then I was able to make myself some wooden rods, which would get done the swords, which would get done all of the other stuff. And I understand this is so boring. There are so many things that I have to grab in order to complete all of these objectives. Now, the beautiful thing was that day 3 was able to be ended simply by going ahead and grabbing a bunch of these wooden rods, grabbing some more granite and wood out from the forest area, and then getting myself a sword. That way I could finally explore inside of the world and start fighting for some shell, fighting for some wolf claw, and finally taking down some of the enemies. Now that we're locked and loaded, we could finally go out there and start fighting some of these guys. Now, I am going to use a trick. This is not a glitch, it is just a trick. But when it comes to the rollers, if they touch water, they will instantly die. Now, outside of that trick, the other thing that you guys may not have realized is I'm kind of a pro when it comes to the animals and the fighting. I could take down any single one of these things without taking any damage, not because of any glitches, but because I'm simply the best. I mean, we all know that wolves roll in packs, but something that you could see right here is I dodged that first wolf attack, and then they both realize that they are going up against somebody that is extremely skilled and just take their fate as is and just stare at a wall, which I don't really know why they did that. Now, day 4, we're really kind of stretching it here. We're getting a little bit sketchy as we're going to have a roller come for us once again by the water. That way we can unlock another shell, all while a bear is sitting there just within sprinting distance of us. So we obviously have to go the opposite way and find a third shell somewhere else. And just like that, day 4 becomes the best day so far for us, where we find another shell crab force him to sprint directly into some water. We got enough wolf claw, so we're going to be able to make a ton of major adjustments in our world just off of this one pond area and working out some of these little tricks that I knew. And can we talk about how lucky I just got right here? I sprinted directly past a bear while it was sleeping, and it didn't wake up to attack me. I only have 3 hearts with no charms right now, so if that thing would have woken up, I would have been dead and given away some gift cards. To make this day even better, we're gonna go in here and we are now going to go ahead, grab our wooden rods and upgrade our bench. Shout out to the shell crabs that lost their lives inside of the water. For whatever reason, that trick still works months later, but we now unlocked a bunch of new stuff, including health charms that are going to help us when we have to explore those caves to get the different lightsabers. To end off day number 4, we're gonna walk right up to our outpost with our 3 swords and upgrade our village. Every single person here is very happy, but as you guys know, as you continue, this stuff is only going to get harder, so we're going to have to clear out more debris, and in day 5, really pick up the pace when it comes to breaking the debris, building stuff up, collecting resources, and overall completing these objectives. So day 4 absolutely dragged. We were actually able to get the stables done as well, which was one of the objectives that needed to be done for our rebel outpost. So now we just have to place down a bed, as we're just going to continue to try to max this thing out without having to explore too much, because if we explore too much, we're going to definitely die at this low health and this low level in game. Now day 5 was an absolute snoozer. All that we did was sat at our base, built some things up, grabbed some more resources, placed some more items down, that way we could upgrade some of the equipment that we had, organized a little bit of our stuff, and then farmed more rocks, trees, vines, and different things like that. So we have some days which are snoozers, but that'll help so we get more days just like day number 4, where we were able to get a ton of stuff done. So to start off day number 6, we know that in order to get some more of the better items inside of our crafting area, we are going to need some bones. The best way to get yourself some bones is at night. You want to find some of the skeletons. The only downside to this is while I do have myself a sword and a shield, they do over a half of a heart when they hit you. So you kind of have to be a little bit of a pro when attacking these things at low health, because if they do get some of these attacks on you, you are absolutely done for. And just to flex on you guys, I went ahead, did a little bit of dodging, running around, tricking some of these things, and I took down 2 more wolves inside of this area. I had them so scared that they were actually running away from me during this fight and didn't get a single hit off. I can't believe I just hyped up attacks on wolves at the 6-month point of this game being out. Now day 7 is where things really started to get the ball rolling. The first thing I was able to do is get myself some wooden rods along with the bones that we farmed with the sword in order to get ourselves our green forest axe. And then it was time to use a 100 IQ, a large brain, and go into the teleporting cave because there's 0 enemies in there. And what that allowed me to do was go ahead and not only just farm some of these knot root, but I can now start coming in here for the marble as well once I create the pickaxe. So in order to make the pickaxe, you actually need some of the knot root rods. So we're going to create that just now, and now this pickaxe will actually allow us to get marble, which is going to upgrade our workstation, which probably every single one of you guys already knows. So we're going to use our big brain once again, go right back into our teleporting cave. That way, once again, we're able to farm every single piece of marble in here, and we never have to worry about any enemies coming after us. Just swing this pickaxe at these rocks, grab some of that marble, and then we could start to upgrade our area. So while to you guys it may look like baby steps, to me this is really snowballing into getting this done a lot faster than I expected, because at the end of day 7 we finally now have a stone breaker which can use the marble slab, or use the marble to create slab, which then can actually help to upgrade our entire workbench. Now while we're working on upgrading our workbench, we also need to kill some spiders, that way we can get ourselves some silk. The reason why this is so important on top of some extra shells is because we need to get some charms. This 3 health or these 3 hearts is not going to last very long. Now, day 8 went by extremely fast, but what we were able to do was get our 20 marble slab, which would help with our bench upgrade. We're also able to get ourselves a bunch of these charms, so that way we have more hearts on our players. That way, when we go into the desert biome, which we do need to do to upgrade our bench, we should be a-okay, assuming that we don't run into a brute. And just like that, everybody that was hoping that I would die, those dreams have come to an end, because we just were able to create 3 green health regeneration charms, which gives us 2 additional health per item, and it also gives us 3 additional armor per charm, so that we should be rocking and rolling now and taking far less damage from our enemies. Now, things are actually going to get intense here, as I have to play up against much harder enemies. But the thing about me is, like I said, I'm a bit of a pro, so it's difficult for me to take damage from these things, but thanks to those new charms that I got, they only do about 1 1/4 heart on me, so I should be just fine. We did notice that loot drop in the corner of our screen, and then we got nothing out of it. And then we found a brute inside of this area, and we figured he's gonna make our life so much easier, and we'll have him farm for us. But I actually ran out of stamina while he was chasing us. Oh, that was way too close, dude. My heart was actually racing at that moment. I know that's what you guys wanted, but luckily Triggerfish is extremely versatile, and he was able to get out of the way and snag a bunch of flex wood at the same time. And if anybody knows that brute, make sure you tell him I said thank you. Now, we actually came to the dry valley. That way we can get some more shells. But the thing about this area is there's not typically water here, so we have to pull out a new trick, which is holding up our shield. The shield is going to stun them, and that actually allows us to do critical damage on top of these enemies, which makes it so much easier to actually kill them and earn ourselves some of these shells. Now, the dry valley is no joke. I got jumped by 2 completely different type of wolves. I don't know if they're related or even friends, but they came and they tried to jump me, and both of them got the absolute work put on them. Now, I'm not going to take any damage from these things. I'm probably the most versatile professional LEGO Fortnite player that you guys have ever seen. And then I seen another wolf trying to bully some of these pigs, and I was not about to let that one slide. So I had to make sure that I removed him, teach him and his family a lesson, keep the pigs alone, let them live. They're just doing their job. And then obviously I had to finish things off with even more shell crabs. That way I could upgrade my bench. Now, day 8 was probably the scariest of days, so I'm kind of happy that it's over. We were able to get everything that we needed though in order to walk up to our bench upgrade and set this thing forward. Upgrading this means better health charms, which ultimately is going to help us complete this challenge just a little bit easier, as well as give us better weapons, because we are going to need them very soon. Now, once we place down this barn, it's actually going to level us up, and now our rebel outpost is officially going to be upgraded again. So we are at level 4 now. We are getting very close to getting a new lightsaber, but now we have our first real challenge, which is going to be fighting these stormtroopers, and we don't have the greatest of weapons. Do you guys remember when we thanked that brute for his service? He actually helped us even more by allowing us to upgrade to a blue pickaxe. Now, the thing that is awesome about this blue pickaxe along with this new update is that now I can get myself some copper bar, which is going to be needed for better weapons. So we're going to head back to that cave. We are going to absolutely just start destroying some of the rebel equipment that is inside of there, because that is going to unlock so much more stuff for us back at our outpost. Now, we came back with the loot. I believe we came back with about 50 total copper bars. You can see that does help upgrade our crafting bench, but the more important thing is inside of our weapons tab, we're now going to be able to get a blue sword, which is now going to help us so much more when it comes to fighting the stormtroopers, because we have to take down 10 of them. Now, luckily, I knew where a few of them stayed at, which is going to be those red caves. However, what I didn't take into account is that this is going to be inside of the dry valley, which means that that these stormtroopers are actually extremely tough. So you guys can see that they actually wiped up half of my health. I went ahead and regenerated, went back to the grasslands where it's a little bit easier, and I decided to step up and just beat up on some of the weaker guys inside of this game. But eliminating every single one of the stormtroopers at this area will count towards all 10 of them, which means I did finally get that objective done. And obviously, I didn't die. Thankfully, I remembered the grasslands is where they're much weaker. So now that we've completed our objective, we can come back here. We have enough plastoid and we're going to upgrade our village up to level 5, which means we are only 1 total level away from actually earning ourselves a lightsaber, which is going to be one of 3 that we need to complete this challenge. So day 9 actually ends up where we're able to finish every single objective, and that reaches level 6. Now, as you guys know, once you read level 6, if you go ahead and you talk to the general, she is going to give you your first lightsaber. Luckily enough, we got one of the more rare ones according to my comment section and got a blue lightsaber to start this off. So 9 days in and we got 1 of 3 lightsabers. Now it's time to really lock in, because now that we have a lightsaber, that means we could go inside of these caves. So not only do we need to do this to level up our objective or our outpost, but we also need it to get more lightsabers. The only thing that we can hope for now is that when we complete this, we are getting a different colored lightsaber. And the best decision that I could have made was coming to the grasslands to try to do this. The lightsaber does 11 damage, and apparently that is way too strong for the stormtroopers. So I'm wiping them out with a single hit while taking very little damage at the same time. So it goes without saying that we were able to finish up a grasslands cave pretty easily, and we didn't take much damage. So now we finally get to our first red chest, and inside of here is going to be a lightsaber. So the only thing that we don't need is a blue lightsaber, and then as you guys can see, we get a blue lightsaber. So that was a complete and utter waste of time. Now, the only positive to that is that when we go back to our home village, we have so much more inventory that we can go ahead and deposit. That way we could get ourselves more weapons, more items, more charms, and because we explored one of those caves that happened to be one of the objectives on the level 6 outpost, so now we're able to upgrade this to level 7, which means we're only 3 levels away from maxing out and 2 lightsabers away from completing the challenge. So that means we got to go right back out there and jump back into at least 2 more caves to hope that we can get a red and then a green lightsaber. So we're going to stick inside of the grasslands biome just to make this a little bit easier on us. And easy it was. I felt absolutely unstoppable inside of these caves. These grasslands caves are so easy to navigate through, and you're one-hitting absolutely every single person that's in there until you get to the final level where it gets a little bit tougher, but clearly not tough enough. We're able to get through with only losing 3 total hearts, and now we get to open up this red chest. Please, all that we need is either a red or a green lightsaber. Please do not give us a blue one, and we do get a red lightsaber. So that means that 2 of the 3 have been found, and we only now need 1 more lightsaber to finish that part of the challenge. So 2 tricks that I figured out was 1, stay inside of the grasslands because it's much easier, but number 2, if you stay on the shoreline, there are a ton of caves around there. Now, I'll be honest, maybe I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but I kind of feel like I could have taken down the Jedi by myself, or if I wanted to flip the roles, I could have taken down the Siths all by myself. I mean, Triggerfish really is just that powerful, at least in the grasslands biome, that's for sure. But we do get to the end once again after absolutely destroying the stormtroopers, and all we need is a green lightsaber, and believe it or not, we get a green lightsaber. It took 4 total caves, and we got 1 of each color, which completes 1 of our challenges. Now, I feel like we got the easy part out of the way, because now we actually have to upgrade our villager outpost. And this is going to be tough, because now you actually have to explore, and a lot of this has to do with random stuff rather than simply looking in the binoculars and looking at exactly where you need to go. So you guys are going to see my mini map now, which is not very explored, because what I have to do is find 5 of these red chests, which means I need to find 5 random villager spawns or find the villager huts that they have built up and fight every single stormtrooper. So this is going to take a very long time. So the first one actually didn't take all that long. Located right on my shore biome, I was able to go ahead and find a nice little area here that has the red chest. And obviously, because we're still around the grasslands biome, these are very easy enemies to get rid of. So we get an easy chance to open up this red chest, and it takes absolutely no time at all, and we don't have to look too much at our health. But after that, we're just running, and then we're running some more, and then we're running even more, and we're just continuing to run until we find just about nothing. But honestly, after about 30 minutes of running around, we did get a few really lucky spots. So we found a half-built one, we found a full village here that they had tried to protect, but unfortunately, they ran into the literal Jedi or Dark Force Master, depending on what side you want me to be on. So we're able to do a lot of this stuff actually fairly quickly, which made it pretty nice. I mean, 30 minutes of grinding and running around is a lot, but I guess it's better than spending hours trying to find this stuff inside of the snow biome or inside of the dry valley biome. We were able to just walk around and unlock a lot of the map while also getting all 5 chests. So we're very close to the finish line here. So what we're going to do is upgrade the Rebel Outpost from 8 to level 9, which means we just have 1 final level to go. And this one isn't very difficult, but unfortunately, we run into a glitch. I'm looking for the hologrammed area where we actually have to destroy something. I'm talking to the villagers. I can't figure this out. So if you've ran into this issue, you just have to sign out and back in, and that actually fixes it. Now, once you guys get that done, you're just going to go ahead and build the Rebel Command Center, which is just about the final step in order to upgrade your Rebel Outpost. Once this is built, you're just going to find that stage, which can be found inside of your build area. This is going to be under the Recreation tab. Once you place that down, you are good to go. And if you guys cannot tell, I could not be happier. We got all 3 lightsabers, and we got our final village level up to level 10, which means we have completed every single challenge inside of this game while not using any glitches, and we didn't use any villager help. Now, because you stuck it out until the end, I'll show you. I actually died 2 times during this recording. I died twice to pretty much the same exact brute around the exact same area, which was super unfortunate, but that means I owe you guys 2 gift card giveaways. So comment down below 2 things. I want to know your favorite Star Wars character while also giving me your favorite colored lightsaber. Try not to make it obvious so that others don't know about this that didn't watch until this part in the video. But I hope you guys enjoyed videos like this. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, guys, this was Crafty, and I'm out. Peace.